Welcome everyone. We wanted to take some time to do a webinar. We've been wanting to do this for a while. So first, let me start and introduce myself. My name is Antonio Wells. I'm the CEO of NAMYNOT. The company was started in 1999 by myself when I was 19, going on 20 years old. Back then, I fell in love with the internet and websites and how you can reach people around the world and have a communication device from one area and literally reach across the world. And today, technologies have vastly changed and grown, but at the core, the thing that we have is connection. Now, what makes this webinar special against other webinars is, yes, first let's start with what we are. NAMYNOT Inc., we're a marketing company. So we handle various things for companies, small and large, whether that be enterprises like AT&T or ServiceNow, or the mom and pop, or even an inspiring influencer that just wants to build a brand and don't know where to start. I have a passion for small business owners because I still consider my company, myself, small business. And back then, I really wished that someone would have taken me under their wing or shown me some things that will really be beneficial from small and grow. And so now that I'm in that position, I've taken on that charge to say, hey, this is the time now. This is the opportunity to be able to go ahead and show up and coming folks how to do what we've learned how to do decades ago. And now it's much easier with AI. So as I speak, you'll see a montage of the newest works that we've been doing. So we know how to code from scratch, using various tools, but at our disposal is now AI. And so some of the websites that we'll be showing in this are some websites that we built with the assistance of AI. What we'll do in this, you don't have to have all of the fancy techno things that's going on today, what we use in our studio, but we'll show you some simple tools and how you can build a website using AI. And right now, I have an affinity towards two websites, and that's Lovable.bolt. We'll get that on the screen. And Bolt.new. With those websites, you can simply go in and type whatever type of website or web app that you want, and it will build it. But the problem with that is AI is guessing what's in between. We just said, for example, I want to build a trucking company website, and it'll build it. But you have to give it a brand name, logo, color schemes, area. What is the core offer? Just because you have a trucking company, there's various aspects. Do you actually do deliveries? Are you a courier? Are you a broker? So many things that it has to figure out, and it will build what you don't give it. But if you give it a better prompt with more specificity, it will build it and build it beautifully. So without further ado, we'll get right into the presentation. So again, what we're doing, we'll take in this 30 minutes, actually it'll take less than that, but we'll use this time to show you how you can build a website in minutes. And the goal, we have to change our mentality. The tool will do 80% of the work. It's your job to customize it with the rest of the 20%. So what it does, it builds it fast, literally in, we'll see anywhere from 30 seconds to maybe a minute or two. And as I explained, the 80-20 rule, AI will do the bulk of the work. It's your job to do the other 20% of the work. Also, we'll look at it as the basic website. So I'll do a basic website. Then I'll do a more nuanced website with a tool called Prompter that we actually built. This slide, it demonstrates how we go from a generic AI built website. You may hear terms out there on the interwebs, people calling it AI slop. What that term means is the tools have been trained on a set of design principles. And when you go and give it sparse or limited information, it's going to build the website, but the design taste is what it's already been trained on. What Prompter is, it tells it, hey, break these design principles and build in this fashion based off of other inputs that we'll get to. So let's get started. In this slide, we're just going to say, we're going to take that sentence right there. Create a website for a trucking company. We've already told you about the pits that we're going to, or the failures that we're going to get with that. But then we're going to take that same mentality over to Prompter and see a vastly different result. This website is Bolt.new, Bolt.new. Again, we'll share all of this in the chat as well as at the end of the seminar. So in Bolt, what we'll do is we'll just say build transportation trucking company. This is embellish a little bit while we have. I can just stop here and it'll build it. But let's say in Chicago, we pick up LTL loads in the Chicagoland area. And you may think that that's an evolved prompt, but it's not. But again, we told it where, we told it the core service, but we haven't told it anything else. We haven't given it any our customer testimonials, what makes us different from our competition, any of our social media, any of our phone numbers, office hours, things like that. But that's where the other 20% comes in. Again, I'll keep reminding you of that in this webinar. Have to start with the course structure. Once you get the structure, then you go in and you customize to your liking. And it's as simple as chatting with AI. So if you see something that you don't like, let's say when this finishes, it gives me black background, and I don't like that. I like white, crisp, corporate, minimal. All I have to do is in this chat is just say change the background to white, and it'll go and do its thing and change it. So while we're waiting on it, it takes again about 2-3 minutes, maybe 5 if it's a complex thing, but I'll show you what it's actually doing. What's cool about these tools are it's taking that and it's running several different AI agents. You may hear that a lot in the social webs. But what it's doing is it's saying, okay, with this, we need a database because we're going to need leads for the contact form. We may need user management, and it's building that. So right now you'll see it's applying a database. I never told it that, but it has this brilliance to go ahead and say, hey, they're going to need contact forms for when somebody clicks a form to fill it out, they can go somewhere and easily see all of this and perhaps pull it to their CRM contact relationship manager so they can do more with the information. You can also see it's just building out that database. You can see it's building out the pages, the packages, all of the techno stuff that we don't need to know. Hence why we advertise this course as you don't need any design skills. You don't need any technical skills. The AI will handle all of that for you. However, if you are a designer or aspiring designer, if you do have some technical skills, that's going to be very great because we can take this and push the limits. Furthermore, beyond this course, because it's going to be very quick, we also have a course that dives a little bit deeper in this, and then we have some one-on-one sessions. If you want to take this even deeper and go pick our brain, see how you can build an actual secure web application that you can build your business on. And if you're a designer or the aspiring designer, you can take this and you can build websites, crank them out, build your business, and thrive from there. So let's check in on the app. So it built us the homepage. It's right now building the about page. Again, remember, I never told it to build out homepage, service pages. So you can see it have a service area page. All I told it was Chicago. So it has the smarts to say, hey, we need an area page. We need some focal point in Chicago and probably the surrounding suburbs. So it perhaps, this is my assumption, it'll start naming those surrounding suburbs. You'll see in Bolt, Lovable does this too, but there's a planning mode. You'll see here, I did not press that, but what it did was it made everything, did a summary, created a plan, presented the plan to me, and now you can see in this window, it's taking a second to load, but it will load a functional LTL trucking website. And there we have it. So again, remember, I did not give it a brand name. So it just created Great Lakes Freight. It gave it a logo icon. It created a services page, an about page, a service area page, testimonials, and a contact form. Actually, let's preview this page, and then we'll go from right to left to look at that contact page to see the database that it built. So as you can see in the background, we have a forklift driver, we have our call to action, and one of the main things that a trucking company would need is a request a quote. The second next best thing that they would need is to review the services. I didn't give it any of this information, but it projected 20 years in business. These are the lows that we've done. Here's our zip codes. Here's our performance rate. Right away, you want to see what types of services that we offer. We only told it LTL, local and regional, consolidation. So this gives you an idea of, okay, here's my service boxes. Also on the home page, we're still in the realm of the trucking and delivery and warehousing industry. It went out to free resources to pull in images. If you want to keep that, what I do encourage is that's where that 20% that we discussed, to go ahead and change these images out to those images that suit your brand. But you can see in the about section, here's our coverage here. Request a quote form. And actually, now that I think about it, when I said we were going to go from contact, all it does is it built a one-page website. And that's kind of one of the caveats of when you don't have an in-depth prompt. And that's what our tool, Prompter, which I'll show you next, is going to solve. So what it did was it created this contact form that we can go ahead. If we fill this out, there's a database that's saving the information. So what I would encourage you to do if you use Bolt, Lovable, or any of the other emerging tools that are coming in, start with a base prompt. Let's say I don't like the colors here. I can go ahead, prompt away, and just type change the color scheme to red and white. I'm not going to press enter, but it's as simple as chatting with AI. That's how you get it to change. So let's take a pause and jump over to this tool that we were talking about so much called Prompter. So Prompter is an AI tool that we built to follow simple questions about your business, about the brand, whatever website you're trying to build. And from there, it will create an elaborate prompt that'll get you far better results. So we're going to stay with the trucking company theme. And again, we'll share this address. It's basically at our website, NAMYNOT.com/prompter. We'll share those details later. Let's call this Chicago's trucking company. It's generic, but let's call it that. Let's say we're in the transportation and logistics industry. Here is where I highly encourage you to put as much as you can about your business. If you have an existing website, go to your about page, copy paste, or if you go to AI, give an executive summary. For the purpose and brevity of this training, I'm just going to say the same thing. We have a trucking transportation company in Chicago and Chicagoland area. We focus on LTL loads. That's it. Again, I highly encourage you to fill out as much as possible. There's optional things here. I could bypass this, but let's say I wanted to put in my business phone number. I wanted to put my exact address. I wanted to put the office hours. So for trucking, we'll say we're 24/7. And my social media links are, I can spell Chicago trucking on all, let's say on IG and Facebook. Again, these parts are optional, but I highly encourage you to fill it out. What we've done with Prompter is we've taken over 2 decades worth of expertise that we've built with web design and place it in this to make it easier on you, the user. And that's where this comes in. So there's various different styles you can do, but we pinpointed 4 distinct styles that most of our clients wanted and embedded it into this tool. So for our purposes, we really want the corporate professional, and you can see it builds a clean, structured, trusted first website. Or I might want a minimalist approach to break the norm in the trucking industry. I might want high energy, bold, wild colors, whatever your desires are. Or I might want to have a more relaxed, uh, luxurious feel to the website. And I can go for that as well. For this purpose, I'm just going to choose corporate or professional. If you don't choose it, the AI, based off of your information, will choose one for you. Again, our top services are LTL loads. You can expand more if you desire. You can put more services, more products, or if you offer products and services, I highly encourage you to fill it out. What makes you different? Let's say for this one, I was going to bypass it, but let's say we're family owned for 30 years. That's what, and we're hands-on with customers. Your target audience. For me, in this example, it's going to be companies seeking LTL loads. And my primary goal, we preset some of them, but most people, they want to drive more sales. Again, you can, if you have a booking link, you can copy and paste that here. What it does is give the AI website builder tools this link to embed in your call to action. We're just going to skip for now. Our tool takes about 20, 30 seconds while it's thinking about the sparse information that you gave. And based on what we programmed on the back end, it's going to flesh out all of those empty holes as much as it can to give a highly detailed prompt that we're going to copy and go back over to Bolt, paste it, and rerun it again to get a better result. So once it's done, again, it takes about 30 seconds max. It's going to give you this master prompt, and it's highly detailed. So if we scroll in this window, we can see just how much is in there. So build a multi-page site, SEO friendly for Chicago's trucking company, using all of the techno stuff that you guys don't have to worry about because we put it in there for you. It's taking all of the business information that we've given it. It's also giving technical requirements. Again, that's the reason why you don't need to have the techno wizardry. We'll embed it in there for you. We also put a design pack. We put font choices in it. We put system colors on what to use. We put layout rules. We put SEO and structural rules. This thing goes on and on and on. So it's going to tell Bolt exactly what to do, rather than that one sentence that we started with. So again, before we move on, I just want to show you a little bit more with Prompter. All I have to do is copy the prompt. It's in my clipboard, but let's go over to the edit prompts. What this does is there's preset things that have already, based on your brand, based on a questionnaire, to say, hey, once it finishes the first pass, if I want to make it more luxurious, copy this prompt, paste it in Bolt, and it'll do its work. Let's say if I wanted to add a page specifically about LTL loads, simply copy this prompt, again, go in Bolt, Lovable, and paste it. So we cut a lot of the work down for you to simple copy, pasting, chatting with AI to get a professional result. Let's jump back over to missing info. Again, we breeze through this. I highly encourage you to fill out as much as possible. But what it flagged were some things was saying, hey, it's helpful if you add more products or service categories. And then there's some nice to haves. If you would have given it colors, otherwise the AI had to figure out colors that we think will work best for your brand. If you want to save any, put in your information and you can email the prompt to yourself, or it'll save it in your dashboard and you can come back. Let's go on and hop in to Bolt. Let's start a brand new project. Now, one thing you need to realize about most of the AI tools, if you have a large chunk of text, you would have to you simply paste it, and it'll do what's called a pasted file. And all you have to do in here is say, let's go, or anything. Let's get started and build now. So the same process in which we went through last time, we'll speed this up, especially in the on-demand video, so we don't have to sit and wait. This will probably take 5-6 minutes because there's a lot more that we're telling. And let's go through that while we're waiting. With the previous website, they had what's in the jargon called SPA, single page application. So everything existed, even though we had contact, about, service areas, it dropped you essentially on the same page, just a different section. That's cool for a starter website, but for an emerging or an established business that's growing, you want to have multiple pages that satisfies all your different needs. So your services, your about page, your contact page, you want that on different pages. Also for SEO purposes, in order to be found in Google, you want those pages to be on independent pages. You don't want your contact page to only live on your homepage. You don't want the about page to only live on the homepage. You don't want your services page to only live on the homepage. You want those as dedicated sections, as landing pages. And so what Prompter did, it gave it specific instructions to tell it, hey, make these specific pages and in this order and not a single page application. And when we finish, we'll see that. Also, what Prompter did is, since I didn't give it a color scheme, it gave the best color scheme based off the choosing the professional and corporate web design. So there's a lot of design principles behind it that we embedded in the tool to say, hey, based on our experience, these are the color schemes that work. Based on our experience, these are the typography, fonts that work in pair together. Based on our experience, this is what works on call to action. That's another important piece that's embedded into this, that most inexperienced folks, when they create their own website, it's missing things. And one of the biggest things is, hey, when you bring a person to your website, the goal is to get them to action with you. And so we built that into this. So let's check in on what's going on. As you can see, like in the previous application, we built our home page, we built all the technical wizardry, but look a little bit deeper, we told it specifically to build in React and Framework. And those are just frameworks to make things pretty fancy and animation, should we choose to chat and go down that route. The underlying, the structure is already built. Let's look at more. It configured Tailwind, it configured the fonts, it configured the header, footer, the SEO metadata, and right now it's building out that homepage. And you can see up next, it's going to build out the about page, services page, contact page. The next chunk is going to be service area, FAQs, and even a blog. That's what I forgot to mention what Prompter is doing as well. You want to start to flesh out more content. So it gave sample blog posts. I want to say more than 3, but it gave the title, suggested image, and even the content that Bolt should write. So all of that stuff is working in the back end while we wait. And again, it's amazing to see something like this. We've already built one prototype. We're in the process of building a better version of that prototype. And we're still within a 30-minute window with this entire webinar. So imagine if you took some time, a couple hours, even a couple days, even a week, to refine the website to get it to your choice. And all you're doing is chatting with AI. You're not doing what we do on our end, going and mucking around in code, dealing with APIs, and dealing with all of the things that we have to do to build a website. You have a workhorse that is AI that's working right now, as we speak, to build a full trucking company website for you. And Prompter was the bridge that took you from a simple sentence to an elaborate website. So when we return, we'll see what that website looks like and how it differs. Here we are. It built the entire website. It put in some stock, some custom actually stock imagery there It's a pretty cool graphic. I don't think we can find that anywhere. I think it built it for us. We have our call to action. We have our call to a dispatch. Again, it did put in some of these other fictitious things that I can go and change if I desire. But let's go ahead and go through this website. Who we are, kind of our about section. So we no longer have that display that we saw in the previous example. We have something completely unique and completely different. And again, what I like that it put is our competitive advantage. It put 30 years, family owned. As we scroll, we see more information. It even gives a cool timeline of when we started and how we are today. The process in which we work. Most trucking companies, you get a quote, you confirm the details, you schedule a pickup, dispatch delivery, things like that. Again, and then you can see it ended it with a call to action. FAQs, but here's what I like that's different than the previous. So when we click on our services page, this is a whole dedicated page. This is not living only on the homepage. When we click our service area, it shows Chicagoland. What I expect is these are the different neighborhoods and counties in the Chicagoland area. It lists those out, and you want to know what benefit that has. It's better for SEO. So it's showing in the Cook County area the different major neighborhoods and listing that out versus just saying Chicagoland area. The about page, again, I didn't fill out much, so it had to embellish more of it. That's one of the cool things that any of the AI website tools will have. They will fill in the gaps. FAQs are really good. The blog section. Now, Prompter gave it these titles to say. Oh, wow, it gave it 6 of them to say. How to choose a LTL carrier in Chicago and flesh out that article. So here's the actual whole article that can get indexed in Google and help your company be better found and convert better over your competitors. And of course, one of the golden things about a website, or especially for a trucking company, is the request a quote form. So there's a back end. I'm not going to fill it out, but there's capturing all of this information. So if I want to take it to the CRM and interact and follow up with folks, I'm capturing all of that information from my website, and I can take it to things like HubSpot or MailChimp or whatever your CRM of choice. So I hope that that's been helpful. We're going to kind of wrap it up here. So what's next? The next thing is this thing doesn't have customization. I just was generic. I said Chicago's trucking company. I don't have a logo there. I gave a generic phone number. I want to go into the chat and fill out those things and change those things. I want to go and change imagery. You can do it simply by uploading and chatting. That's the 20%. If you want to go a little bit deeper, because we only had a few minutes, less than an hour to discuss this, we have a course, and I'll share that with you. Now, it is a paid course. It's $99, and it's well worth it. Just imagine you paid $100 with this free information. You pay another $100, and you can go deeper to teach you how to customize that 20%. So a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. And this course teaches you all of the gaps that you need to fill in order to customize this website. And for those, we have some people that are going to have a higher need. The course may not do it all, and they want one-on-one training. We do offer that. We'll give you that information. We'll follow up via email to show you how you can get in touch with us and do a one-on-one course, especially if you're a designer and you want to build out to a whole AI web design agency. This is a great course for you. But back onto the $99 course, we give a free preview, so you can start right now. You don't have to pay to get started. You can click start here, and the information is right there. We show you how to use Prompter and how to use websites like Lovable and Bolt, just how we did in this presentation, but it's at your own pace. And you can build websites in minutes, just as we showed you. So again, I want to wrap it up and encourage you to use this to your advantage. And why would we charge for websites? Why would we open a door and give it away for free? Well, somebody's going to do it. And so we figured we want to be one of the first in the space. Furthermore, we've elevated even our designs. and we use AI ourselves. And I'll give you a demonstration on how we use AI to build websites that are even far beyond what Lovable and Bolt are doing. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's show you that right now. Here's one of our clients that we're building a website for. He builds homes. So what a great way to start out. The presentation to his website, you literally saw a home being built. That's what happens the first time you visit the website. After that, it goes into his trinity of services because he builds homes, he sells homes, and he does property management in his various companies. So that's what you see in the hero. This is not built in Lovable or Bolt, but it was AI under the curtain that helped build this website with our industry award-winning web design services. So again, why would we offer something like this for free? Is because it elevated even our own competition. It made our designs better. With that said, I wish you the best. You can visit us at NAMYNOT.com. You can email us at NAMYNOT@NAMYNOT.com. You can give us a call at 855-922-0490. Thank you.